Post-it notes all over.
Hey Sasha, you're in here.
How are you, sir? I'm good, yeah. Nice to be in Atlanta. With the home of The Walking Dead.
Right, and this is your first Walker Stalker Atlanta, right?
This is my first Walker Stalker Atlanta, yeah.
What do you think of the enormity?
Well, the thing is, like, people were saying, like, oh, Atlanta is so crazy and so enormous. The only difference I see is that just the never-ending people at my table. Because you don't get a chance to see anything, you know, to walk around and check it out. Like, maybe at like 8 o'clock tonight when everyone's packing up. But generally, it's just about the amount of people, and yeah, I haven't stopped all weekend. I made the mistake of having some lunch today, which I didn't have yesterday. And I went off to have some lunch today for like 45 minutes, and then I got back to my table and...
They're all there.
I mean, yeah, and I just ended up feeling really guilty. I'm like, oh God, I'm so sorry, you didn't have to wait for me, I should have not eaten.
I saw you come in really early this morning, and I also do the customer service for the convention.
Right.
I'm always so appreciative of those of you that come in before 9 o'clock when the VIPs and console opens. I know how tired you all must be, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's part of the thing, isn't it? Like, if you buy a VIP ticket, you expect the stupid people to be there. like, yeah, hi, I'm here. That's half the reason for buying the ticket. So, yeah.
I just want to remind everybody we have microphones. We're going to line up and ask Tom a question. No selfies or hugs, as the announcement said. We reserve those for us. So, what kind of things have folks been asking you at your table? Because it must be all the buzz about season 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's always quite nice for me, really, because my character did kind of disappear. It's in episode 12, I guess was my last one, with the raid on the compound.
I was going to ask you where you...
Yeah, well, I was asking that last season. I was like, well, is Jesus going to come back before the end of the season? And they're so secretive about scripts and whatever, they just wouldn't tell me anything. So
we'll let you know when we need you.
Okay.
We'll call you.
So I just went back to California and didn't come back to Atlanta. I was kind of like wondering if I might, but I didn't. And so he went back to the hilltop after the raid, and that's where they were taking Maggie in the season finale to see Dr. Carson. Yeah. So he's back there, and so maybe when people in the show get back there, you might see him again.
Well, I do have a question about the hilltop, so it kind of leads right into that. And you tell Rick and his group when you bring them there the first time that these people they're not much of fighters.
The hilltop people?
Yes. But you're with them, and you're an excellent fighter. It's 2 years in the apocalypse. Why are you not training them?
Well, because... Well, thanks for the blame game.
What have you been doing with your time exactly?
Well, Jesus is, you know, he's there and he's nice and you can approach him and talk to him, but at the same time, he's a bit of a loner, and the way that he grew up, which you might learn more about, has affected how he operates, and you'll see more of that development this season, actually, of the kind of person that he is, and maybe the kind of person that he wants to be now, having met.
So they did bring you back to Atlanta.
I'm in the new season, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm allowed to say that. Yeah, I am allowed to say that. So, no, I am coming back. So, yeah, he's in his own, not in his own world, but he operates in his own space, and apart from the Saviors, which there's no way that they couldn't defeat them on their own, so there's no point in, let's start a war because you're just not going to do it. The walls hold, so the zombies don't come in, the walkers don't come in, and so they don't really need to know how to fight, actually.
Do you think they have trouble walking uphill?
Walking uphill?
The walkers.
Why?
Do you think that being on the hilltop helps?
No, I don't think so.
Or is it just the sight that you're able to see that makes that?
Yeah, you can see around. I mean, there are certainly people who, you know, are used to going out and killing walkers and stuff, but you don't need to. They're pretty self-sufficient inside, and yeah.
The cure for the zombie apocalypse is gravity, folks. It's gravity.
Steep slopes.
And Tom, I haven't seen you since Nashville, so I didn't get a chance to ask you. We're going to continue the blame game here for a second, so excuse me.
Okay.
But having Jesus known who the Saviors were, why do you think he really didn't stop Rick and the gang? He kind of let
Because they were so gung-ho about it. John was just like, these guys didn't shit. And Conscious is like, yeah, we've done this before, and we run into them, and we took them out really easily. And then Rick goes, yeah, we've never had trouble with that. And then they got in too deep. Jesus was like, oh, cool, okay. If you think you can go and do that, then and in the scene, he's like, sure, I'll talk to Gregory about it. And then they bit off more than they could chew. Like, he doesn't really know the extent of the threat, and at that time he didn't really know. He knew how many people were in Alexandria, and he knew how tough. He said, "You and Rick look like trouble." In that scene in Alexandria, so he had a sense of them, and maybe they can handle themselves. And he didn't know how many saviors there were, like nobody did. And they were just so overly confident about it. Go for it.
That makes perfect sense.
Fair enough. Well, your fans are waiting. We're going to start over here. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm from Atlanta. And I was wondering, what was it like filming the scene where you're just evading Daryl the whole time and he's just getting angrier and angrier?
Wait, which scene? When I'm debating him?
Like, avoiding him.
Oh!
Your introduction episode.
Well, yeah, when I'm running around the field in the midday sun.
With a stocking hat and a leather coat and boots and gloves.
Yeah, and Daryl's chasing me with his arms. That was pretty funny. I was a bit worried about myself. I was a bit worried about Norman, because it was the middle of the day and it was really hot. And we did it it was like a big long run that they made us do 5 or 6 times, maybe a little more, which doesn't sound like that much, but it was like long takes. And at that time I wasn't the fittest individual in the world. And I'm not going to say anything about Norman's fitness, but I think it was taxing for both of us. I literally collapsed on the last shot. I just collapsed on the floor and didn't speak for a bit as I caught my breath. But also it was very fun. It's ridiculous. I came on this television show, which is this huge television show, and then I've got the lead characters chasing me around the field and making them look stupid. It was kind of, it was an interesting way to enter the television show, because at the same time you think, God, I wonder how the audience is going to take to this. Like, who's this dick? Making Daryl look stupid. I mean, what the hell's going on? So you have that as well.
Have you seen the YouTube of
the
the Benny Hill music?
Yeah, I don't think there is a person who watches The Walking Dead that hasn't seen the Benny Hill YouTube video. And I'm in that, obviously in the scene, so I actually retweeted it when it first came out, because I think it's hilarious. I think it's brilliant, and it really created a scene and an episode that people will remember, definitely from last season, and then in the pantheon of The Walking Dead, it's Jesus' entry was great. I'm very, very lucky. I feel very lucky that they gave me such a nice change in tone and a lighter episode to bring me in. It was
kind of like the buddy cop episode.
Yeah, it was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and I know that Andy and Norman had a lot of fun with that as well, and enjoyed the change in tone, because just before that there was all the bloodshed and all the death that had happened. And it was nice to have the time jump and then have them driving along the truck playing country music.
Well, was your character was your goal in that just to get the truck from them and leave, or were you kind of luring them away? Weren't you out looking for people to trade with and whatnot?
Just generally.
Did you want to interact with them, or did you just want that truck to leave?
I think it's a little bit of both. Jesus is the scout for the hilltop, so he's always out looking for provisions and maybe people that could help him. I think he always had in the back of his mind that the saviors were going to be a bigger problem, and so he's always thinking, okay, if someone comes along that could be useful in that. But then when the saviors situation was accelerated, then he wasn't expecting to have to tell Rick's group about the saviors as quickly as he did. I think he was like, oh, these cute people we can start trading with, and then further down the line, I'll talk to them about that. But in that first meeting, he said, I thought you guys were trouble, but he also saw that they could totally handle themselves. So he's like, I'm just going to steal their truck, because they would do the same to me. He throws Daryl's backpack out the window as well.
Oh, that was nice of you.
Yeah, it was very nice of him. It's a nice night. And then when they chased him down, he was like, oh, actually, these guys have got a bit more about them, and maybe they could be useful.
It might have been more cat and mouse at that point, too.
Yeah.
Jesus was having fun.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think so.